Look, even if you are the biggest achiever ever, even if you're the kind who always delivers promise, there will be times when there will be a slack. There will be times when you will fall, you will fail, you will not match up to the expectations laid for you. And even if you're not an achiever, if you hit that slack, what should you do? Number one, change gears to your strength. Yes, of course, things could happen outside of your purview. The government could change, the policies could change, the product could change, the strategy could change, the customer could change. There could be so many things that happen outside of your area of control. Then what should you do if you're still expected to deliver performance? Number one, change gears to your strengths. See, while the attack may have been on your weakness, that's why you slacked and failed, but you still have strengths which potentially are unused. Bring them to light. And number two, repackage your strengths as a solution, because there's not one way to solve a problem. Remember that. What does creativity mean? Creativity means looking at a problem from different lens, from creative lens. Think things that have never been thought before. Try things that have been never done before. As it is, you have failed, right? You never know, this could work. And sometimes I have seen this personally, that when the best practices fail, when the known fails, it might just be time to dish out the unknown, to repackage your strengths as a solution which you have not yet used, or which have been sidelined or were kept on the side because you had to follow a certain pattern and routine. Then do a root cause analysis. Why did it happen? And I would go a step deeper and say, put in 6 reasons why. See, sometimes the reason that is the most apparent is not correct, or it's a delusion, or it may not even be closer to the mark. It's only when you dig deeper that you understand the source of the problem. So do a root cause analysis and do not stop at the reasoning till you reach the 6th one. Now evaluate, once you have the facts and the root cause, is this problem temporary or is it permanent? Is it just, short term that, okay, you do this, or the weather will change, or the government is changing, or this is just a temporary glitch, the money is coming? Is it that, or is it more of a permanent nature? Now, whatever solution you bring up, and I tell you, I have learned this from legendary people who built legacies. The current person that I'm interviewing and decoding is Mr. A.M. Naik, the group chairman of Larsen & Toubro. And I tell you, his solutions, even though the problem is temporary, his solutions are long-term. That he will think as if this problem is permanent and it will persist. How will I solve it such that nobody ever faces this problem again? And should they face it, this is a solution and this is a preempt which you can do to ward it off. Now, that kind of solution-mindedness is genius level. So you've identified that this is temporary, this is small, or this is long-term, but your solution is always bigger than the problem. That is a mark of genius, that's a mark of leadership, and that is a mark of building deep roots into a legacy. Number 3, minimize the risk and loss. See, there could be that while, you're thinking all of this through, there is a loss at hand. There is a big critical situation to be handled. Handle that first. And your profile, your job, your designation, put it on the side and handle the job, even if it is not your job. That's what great leaders do. They show up, they roll up their sleeves, they get their hands dirty, they go through the inconvenience, they go through the personal trouble to get things back on track. The blame can be fixed later. The processes can be rebuilt later. But a good leader, somebody who's really aiming for performance and success, will first handle the problem at hand. Number 4, get the best handling. See, always keep company of experts. Keep company of people who are above you. Get their opinion, get their advice, get their inputs to see how this problem can be resolved or can be totally eradicated, or what can now one expect now that this one problem came in. Could there be more springing up? Always keep expert guidance as your lifelines. That show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati. When you're on a critical seat, when you're on the hot seat, they give you lifelines. And these lifelines are not time pass people. Let's call an expert, phone a friend you think is an expert. And the audience has come there because they are attuned into this subject. They love, or they are of the same caliber as the person sitting on the hot seat. Keep that counsel. It will go a long way in adding to your performance. Number 5, while we're getting very technical, don't undermine the power of common sense. Sometimes the solution is so simple, and just because it's not technical, just because it's not complicated, and just because it's never been done before, it didn't come from an expert, we try to discard it. Some of the best solutions have come out of common sense, practical tips that you can actually imbibe and articulate and solve big problems. Give those ideas which somebody could write off as normal, general, at least a chance to see if it adds into the larger picture of solving a problem. Number 6, call upon your best practices. See, you have been successful in the past. You've gotten here. What does that mean? That you've done something right. Some things have worked for you. You have delivered success and you have met expectations. And they all have some tips and underlines which we call as best practices, which means if I always do this, I will always get this result. And some of those best practices are eternal. They are unchanged, or maybe tweaked a little, they could still work. So when things go wrong or when you're confused, at least count on your own past success, right? You've gotten here so far, and yes, while things have changed and those answers may not qualify as answers now, there are some basics that always work. Give that a shot. Like I said, don't overcomplicate things here. Yes, those are necessary elements as well, but that does not discard the place for basics. And lastly, get help from your seniors and your team and your family and the people around you. There is no shame in asking for help. There is no, I would say, it does not make you small to say, I can't think right now. Can you tell me, what do you see? Hey, it's okay. Allow other people the responsibility. You see, when they show up, they also want to take credit that they contributed, they supported, that when you are successful, you will turn back and thank them. At least this project they could be successful in. You see, when two people get together and they do something, chances of that success, if they are well intended, are very high. Everybody is looking for success. Everybody is looking for credit. So allow them that platform, yeah. Maybe that guy is suffering in his own job, but he could contribute a few ideas in yours and take away that credit. And it could be that that credit you gave him, even as a gesture of thank you, added power and value into his own projects where he uses this as a best practice to succeed. You see, in asking for help, you're not just securing or adding to your success, you're also securing and adding to the success of others. So problems will come, challenges will come, such is the way of life. But how do you cover up for that slack? How do you make up for that performance? The answers are simple. Simple enough that if you don't try it, well, you're your own worst enemy. I've given you some tips and I hope that they can get you out of any slack and put you back on track.